How's it going, guys? Someone asked me to make a video on how I made my rod holder slash swivel camera mount. That's how it works. Now, this is the first video of me actually talking, so be gentle. Pretty much for all of this, I used 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe for the rod holder, the piece that goes inside the rod holders, and then the rest of it up until here is all 1 1/2. And then I start using reducers to get down to a 1/2 inch and then make this swivel assembly. But pretty much I use 1 1/4 coming out of here, and then I use a reducer to bring it up to 1 1/2 inches. This is the screw type. That's all they had. I usually like the bushing type, I believe it's called. But you'd put a bushing or a reducer right here, 1 1/2 inches right here coming up, and they call this a cross, I believe. And then this is 1 1/2 going right there. Another screw type reducer going down to, I believe, 1 1/4 inches, then down to 1 inch right there, and then 1/2 inch. But from this cross you come back. This piece was about 6 inches long, hit a 90-degree. Believe this one was probably about 5 inches, maybe 6 inches, and then cross, then a bridge piece in between right here. This one, I think it's a 3-inch piece, 3-inch long, and then cross, 3-inch, cross, 3-inch, cross, 6-inch, and then the same thing on the other side, just on the other side. Now, as far as the swivel mount goes, what I did was coming out of this 1/2 inch side, right in between there, I got a T right here, and this is all already glued together, but I'll show it to you. Give me just a second. Come out. Yeah. Alright, so I took this 1/2 inch T and then I bored it out with a 7/8 inch drill bit. And you just set it up on a drill press and then drill straight down through that hole. And that's going to open it up just a little bit. And this is standard 1/2 inch pipe right here. Now the gap in between the pipe and the bored out T fitting was, had a little bit of a gap in it. So I used some painter's tape to really close it back up and put a little bit of friction on it so it's not just sitting there, swiveling back and forth. But then I come up, put a 45-degree on it, brought it up probably about, I'd say about 3 feet or so, and then a 45-degreer, and then I took another piece of 1/2 inch pipe and glued it to the end, and then I heated it up with a heat gun until it was malleable, and then stamped it flat. So then I drilled some holes into it and used countersunk screws to sit down nice and flush with the mount, so I can still remove the camera mount, but the base mount is permanent. But then it goes back inside here and push down. Might have to put the camera down for this one. Yeah. So now it's actually swiveling, ready to go. So I wanted to figure out a way to keep it, put. So I went down to the bottom, marked it, drilled a little hole right there, and then ran a bolt through it and then screwed to the other side, or a nut on the other side. So now I can sit there and swivel back and forth. But the way this one is, it has 6 rod holders. Some people just use regular 90-degree earths right there, and that's killing, you know, 2 rod holders. Another thing that I did was the same heat gun that I used to flatten out this pipe. If you look right there, coming out right here, there's a bend in it. I had to heat up the pipe right there and then bend it downwards to sit kind of parallel with the H-bar. That way this is also sitting level. It's not rocking back, making the camera want to stay backwards all the time. It's pretty much done, other than me putting in some stabilizers in the back. Off these crosses, I'm going to run some 1.5-inch pieces all the way down to the floor to better do the weight. Now it seems kind of sketchy right now. It moves around a lot, but it has a little bit of space in there. I'm going to take up that gap probably with some foam insulators or something, and also none of it's glued other than from here and up the assembly. Everything else is just press fitted on. So it'll get better, but that's how I made it. Y'all have a good one.